What's up, everybody? Welcome to a Friday edition of the Ysn Power Hour. DJ Oakley with you here. Matt Seidel. We got Shades McGee, Stevie Wonder over on the far right side. Jeff is in the G. Burbick Farms studios, and Ty Bartell joins us once again from parts unknown. Gentlemen, it's Friday. How the hell are we?
Doing good.
Friday, great.
Great. I'm at the beach.
Yeah, I was going to say you're at the beach in a hoodie. How does your life get any better?
Yeah. I'll take it.
And then Jeff?
Stevie Wonder. Oh, I'm doing awesome.
How are the Yankees doing?
Well, just 0-1. It's okay. It's early on in the year.
Does this constitute our first update with Jeff Bezos?
Yeah, if you want to.
All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, the Yankee update with Jeff Bezos right off the top of the show.
Well, first update is if they make Gary Sanchez a captain of the Yankees, because we haven't had a captain since obviously Derek Jeter retired. If they make him the captain, I'm going to really question every decision they make from the here point out. They did lose yesterday. I don't know what the heck the guy was thinking from third base with one out with a weak ground ball by DJ LeMahieu. I don't know why he just ran there, dude. It wasn't like hit to the second baseman. It was literally hit to the third baseman. Smart base running. Garrett Cole pitched well, so that's a plus. And I'm excited to see Kluber pitch tomorrow. So hopefully he's old Kluber from the Cleveland Indians, not bum Kluber. So, yeah.
From the Rangers?
From the Rangers, yeah, no.
And that has been your Yankee update brought to you by Jeff Bezos. He sponsors his own segments. So congratulations, Jeff. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, G. Burbick Farms says, hey, guys, happy Easter. Happy Easter to you, Greg.
Right. Good Friday.
Appreciate all you do for us, as always. And naturally, it's National Reconciliation Day. So your other options, in case you are wondering at home, were National Ferret Day, National Peanut Butter and Jelly Day, which I think is BS, guys, because I think we see National Peanut Butter and Jelly Day like 17 times a year.
It deserves it, though.
Peanut butter and jelly?
Yeah.
Which side, the peanut butter or the jelly? Because I'm a jelly guy.
I'm already
together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good mix.
Yeah, I mean,
I
it's
like
the best mix
You
of
know
all
what they say?
time.
It goes together like peanut butter and jelly.
Lamb and tuna fish.
Like peas and carrots.
Do you prefer spaghetti and meatball? Is that more fun?
I'll give you crew cut. We also have it is World Autism Awareness Day, and of course it is Good Friday. But out of all of these, we try to pick the one that is furthest from the beaten path, National Reconciliation Day. So with that being said, and National Reconciliation Day, Jeff, first off, we asked Jeff what reconciliation meant, and he said it was something that had to do with church. So Jeff,
I thought it was.
On National Reconciliation Day, what are you going to reconcile?
So let's get back with something. I'm going to get back with the people that I made mistakes for, like kind of treated bad. Like I want to try to give that back and have good karma for the rest of my life. So yeah, it's never going to happen. So it's never just like that's never going to happen. I'm going to accept the fact of what happens, but that's okay. Yeah.
Pittsburgh is greater than New York.
Little update. I'm going to see the Pirates play, man. The Buccos play. The Cardinals.
No, don't you be jumping on that bandwagon.
Oh, I'm not. No. Oh, no. I'm going to yell at whoever, the left fielder, right fielder, that I'm going to yell at him constantly.
Well, we don't know who that's going to be.
Where are your seats at? That's.
We're in the bleachers. We're with like the people out in the bleacher area.
Well, it's left field or right field.
I think it's left field.
Okay. Because you're like, I'm going to yell at the left fielder or right fielder or
Yeah, well, we're.
He's going to yell at both of them.
He's behind the plate.
I wish, dude. They're only like $45 for behind the plate.
Mardell says peanut butter, and jelly. We also have Jim Bartell saying, if you never have tried cream cheese and jelly sandwich.
Ooh. No.
That wasn't a staple in my household. He's just being a weird because I don't remember that.
If your dad makes that, I have to consider that your dad might be a serial killer. Like if he's trying that, Mr. Bartell.
You might have me on the same bandwagon because I don't ever remember this at all. In my 18 years of being in the house, I don't recall him ever eating a cream cheese and jelly sandwich.
I don't mind. I know that I've had it on a bagel. Like that's what I
Yeah.
put on a bagel. But you know what I never thought I would go for? Peanut butter and pickle.
Is it good?
Ooh.
It's bomb. It's so good.
Oh,
It's so good. It's
Elvis
so
like
good.
peanut butter and banana.
Well, peanut butter, but it's like too. I don't know,
That goes
too
together.
sweet. The pickle is the salty, and the peanut butter's got a little bit of
Didn't
sweetness.
Elvis die on the toilet eating one of those?
Not from
I don't
eating
think he
one of
was
those,
eating
but
a sandwich when he
I don't
died.
think he's not Mama Cass.
I thought he was like on the toilet eating like a peanut
We
butter.
need
like
our
an
own
Android.
version of drunk history, but it's just history with Jeff, and he just sounds
Like
Yeah.
I just didn't know.
It is free. It is Free Ball Friday, so anything goes here today.
It was an aneurysm that killed him, Jeff.
He was eating a peanut butter and
He had a brain
Banana sandwich.
aneurysm on the
Can,
toilet.
can you have dill pickle, dill pickle. Jeff, can you name 5 Elvis songs, or do you just know how he died on the toilet?
No,
he doesn't know that either.
I know he does. He does that Blue Christmas. He obviously didn't write it, but I know he does that one. God, nah. That's all. That's all. Like you
He
told
was
me,
the
like
king
Johnny.
of
Like
rock and
if you
roll.
would have gave me like Counting Crows or like
Gross.
Counting Crows
Yeah, you
only
know-
had like 2 songs.
whoa, no, Paul. No.
you could have given Kid Rock since he met him.
Kid Rock, yeah, dude. Like
He had
Elvis
butted it off.
You can't name any Elvis Presley songs. Jeff.
I can't. I only name like I didn't even name the one that he actually like.
No, you
Was it
didn't
like-
even name a song he wrote.
Wasn't there one like a dog one or something like that? I don't know.
A dog one.
Like,
Jailhouse Rock.
Elvis. It's
Hound
Elvis.
Dog.
It's
Hound Dog, yeah.
Who cares? Like
Hound Dog,
Elvis-
Blue Suede
Elvis
Shoes,
is overrated.
Jailhouse Rock.
Well, you're a DJ. Don't be flexing on him.
Well, I knew that though. I could have named
Elvis.
5 too. But I mean, to be fair, Jeff also thought that peanut butter and banana sandwiches is what took Elvis from us. And
Well, pick
That's-
I've heard that though. I listen. I'm gonna back Jeff on this. I've heard that he had a peanut butter and something sandwich.
It was peanut butter and pickle sandwich. He used to eat them all the time. And no, it was pickle. And that's what like the story was like I got told was that he was on the toilet eating the peanut butter and pickle sandwich and he died eating that sandwich.
We get nursery rhymes when we go to bed. Jeff gets Elvis stories of how,
Yeah.
how he was taking a shit and died.
Yeah, I just saw. I know we all have ESPN, but I just saw my thing come on and said they're taking the All-Star game out of Atlanta
Dingy, dingy.
because of Georgia's voting law. They're going to take it out of Atlanta now.
What was George's voting law?
I'm gonna take this off because we are never gonna get to Reconciliation Day.
Nope, probably not.
We'll reconcile with that topic.
I'm pretty
later.
sure Georgia passed the thing where you have to have an ID. You have to have an ID to vote. Which I mean, honestly, it makes sense to me. You have to have an ID to do everything else in this country. But
We're not gonna go there.
yeah,
Paul,
We're
Stan,
hard left. Hard
but
left.
that's why they're taking it out of there. They're going to say that's.
is that a rabbit hole I'm seeing?
Yes.
Because that-
This is stupid. All right, let's just get back. We are a sports company. We separate politics, we separate news, we separate all that stuff that is hot garbage away. When did this become a big salad of we let things linger into the sporting world? You know what I mean? Like that's my biggest thing is like stay in your lane. Like one thing does not have to do with the other. In my opinion, at least, it's an all-star game.
Yeah.
Why does that? It's an exhibition. It does nothing matters other than this has been planned. People have purchased. I would imagine they've purchased their tickets already.
Because it was supposed to be there last year.
Yep.
And,
So for
I
2
mean,
years they think they're getting this, and now
in a brand
just
new
gonna-
stadium, they were going to show it off. I mean, you talk about like the separation of stuff. Look what MLB forced Cleveland to do. They dangled that carrot in front of them, saying, "You want the All-Star game? You get rid of Chief Wahoo," and they did, so they could have the All-Star game. 'Cause
careful,
if not,
Paul. We might get booted. Paige got booted yesterday for saying that the Indians stink.
Where is Paige? He should be back by now.
He's on his way back. Don't you worry. G. Berwick first. He's going to reconcile his checkbook. Not before you cut us a check for your next advertising. That's all. But Paul, like, I don't know if you guys saw the news today about the Indians or the Cleveland Baseball Club are not allowing anybody with headdresses, and they're
Makeup.
also not allowing anybody that has makeup on because they feel it what's the word I'm looking for? It's
Culturally
racist.
appropriate.
Culturally inappropriate. That's
crap.
great job. If you got the Stones to say that, then have the Stones to change your name, right? So that way they can be the Spiders or they can be the
Tribe.
whatever.
What's wrong with the Tribe?
Stink.
I
Cleveland. Stink team. That's what it should be
You know,
called.
I don't
This is a
understand.
tribe. This is a tribe right here, right?
Well, it's still based off of
Yeah.
culture.
Yeah, they want to get away from like everything with like Chief Wahoo and stuff like that.
If you're, I as much as I like it, if they were the Cleveland Tribe, I still think that they would have an issue because people would still connect the dots.
And yet, no problem with the Atlanta Braves or the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
Their time will come.
It is.
It's
I don't
coming.
think that's
Well, I
ever-
mean,
Their time
they
is
told
limited.
Atlanta-
I think it's totally two different sports. I think you have the NFL is here and MLB is like here. So the NFL would never be touched.
Oh no,
How
sir.
about the Redskins, Jeff?
Yeah.
Well, that only was
Literally.
Well, that
I
lasted
don't
7
know.
seconds.
Washington. Well, I know. Like, I think it was more of like Washington doing
That was everybody saying we're not going to sell your product anymore unless you change your name.
Yeah,
that was
we're not
basically
giving you
them saying you
sponsorship.
aren't having
But
income.
how? When's the last time Washington was like relevant and really, really good?
But
It's
but
money
that
talks. That's the.
that's what it was because it was
No,
like every
yeah,
store,
Kansas City-
every distributor said we're not selling anything with your logo on it unless you change it and force
Right.
their hand.
I know, but
And the
it's
sponsor said no more giving you money for your stadium if you keep using the name. So like they were going to go broke, and so like okay, we'll get rid of it. And again, like I said with Cleveland, it was money. They dangle the All-Star game in front of them. Millions of dollars can come into Cleveland if you get rid of this logo, and they did it so they could get that game there and have all that money come into town.
You
Yeah,
just
but
be a
that's
Yankees fan. This will never happen. So just saying.
well. Don't say that because Yankee can be very offensive to some people.
Yeah, well, grow up a little bit, huh? Don't be soft like Sharman. Let's be tough like Ford. Bill Ford tough. Just saying, like,
Jeff just throwing out some,
I'm just no. It's because we're soft. Because we all feel like our opinion matters. It really doesn't. Like I understand you have an opinion. That's great. If I disagree with your opinion, doesn't mean I don't like you. It's just a full sole fact that I don't agree with your opinion.
Wow.
I don't think the Indians should have got rid of Chief Wahoo anyways. It come to a staple of Cleveland Indians baseball team for the longest period of time. Washington Redskins, the same exact way. That was it. It was a staple.
Who is that guy?
Do not tell me because of the sole fact that that offends me. Well, does it? Good. Everybody offends everything. Anything can offend anybody. That's the thing. Like New York Yankees. Well, the Yankee offends me. Yeah. Do you think I like to go down south and get called a Yankee because I'm from Ohio, from the north? No.
Yes.
Like it just we're soft. This whole thing is soft. Like my generation, Ty's our age, me and Ty's age. That's the problem. We all are soft.
The hell just happened here?
Let's just
I just
grow
got
up.
pulled
Yeah,
into this one.
Bro, let's just you know what? Everything's not going to be perfect in the world. We all get that. Okay? Let's just take a step back, slow down, stop canceling people, and slow down a little bit here. Let's pump the brakes. Sorry.
Jeff, do you actually get offended when people call you a Yankee down south?
No, I don't care. I'm just saying I'm from Youngstown. They're like, oh, wait, the mob? Oh, and gone. 2 seconds later, ouch.
Mardell says speak for yourself. That's the opinions, right? That's the
Yeah.
opinions you speak of. Everybody gets their own.
I apologize if I, offended anybody, but I don't really care. And you don't have to listen. You can go watch the Blue Coats if you want to.
Whoa.
Let's not get carried away
Yeah.
here. Let's
Well,
not
then you
get
watch
carried
it.
away.
Watch 21.
There you go. So before all of this happened, before Elvis led to racial division amongst the Power Hour, the question was about reconciliation. But I guess the better question, if we're going to stick to peanut butter and jelly, is Oh, here we go. Oh, that's what Mardell was saying. He's saying you're soft, not me.
Yeah.
Wow. You call
He says
pumping.
you're soft like Sherman, not Ford Tough.
He's Stay Puft Marshmallow.
Really, Mardell? Really? Who was the one that fell asleep on Saturday and didn't go back out? You're soft. You're soft, Mardell. Go ahead and sleep in your car like you did and couldn't come hang out with me at Quench. Before we went to Risers, sponsor, shout out. After we went to Risers, Mardell and I were supposed to hang out, and he was sleeping in his car.
Shout out.
Shout out.
Chris says, and the All-Star game just moved from Atlanta. So let me ask you this. If that's the case, Paul, and Atlanta can't have it, right? They don't want it, or it got pulled by Major League Baseball, or however that went down, why have a baseball team?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, and the crazy thing is they didn't pull it because of like the Braves, thing of their name. They pulled it because of what the state is doing and recommending stuff. It's two different pots, I know, but the NCAA did that a couple of years ago too. Remember, with some states down south of their like bathroom rules that the kids all got together, and then the NCAA said, okay,
North
they're not going to
Carolina.
tournament games. Yeah, Coach, North Carolina, they wouldn't do tournament games there. It's just they're letting politics interrupt a sport. It's like you said, DJ. It's a sport. There's different lanes. This is the sport. They're not asking you for your ID to walk in the game to watch an All-Star game. You got to have a ticket. You got a ticket. You can go in. Go watch the game. Be a part of it.
Sports are supposed to be a release from everything else. It's supposed to be the opportunity to get away from your problems and enjoy some entertainment for a little while. Let's get politics out of sports completely. I don't care what side you're on, left, right, middle, yellow, green, blue. I don't care. Just keep it out of sports. Let sports be separate.
I 100% agree with that, Ty. Yep. I mean, this is it's a touchy topic, right? There's going to be viewpoints on either side. Where do you stand on this one?
The way where I stand, I'm in agreement that it should be out and there should be its own lane, but I don't think it's just the world of sports and sports teams that are switching over lanes. I also blame a lot of media and news organizations, and that goes from CNN to Fox to MSNBC, all of them, because they also report on all these players and they treat them kind of like activists because that's also what sells on their station. People are watching it and it gets them all fired up. It creates drama too. So it's not just, I don't think the sports teams that aren't staying in their own lane. I don't think news organizations are staying in their own lane, because there's one thing to report sports on the news, and I understand that there's the scores and everything like that, but they go way in depth into it and almost kind of force the politics out of these guys because they're looking for them to be the rallying cry or help set an agenda for either side for anything like that, and that use them as kind of like their voice for their agenda. So I think it's on all sides of the spectrum, and I think everyone kind of just needs to stay in their own lane and do what they do best, honestly.
And that's the trouble, because nowadays we don't necessarily as individuals have our own opinion. We absorb the opinion of people that we look up to, of people who we trust, who we watch. Perfect example right below us with Mr. McAfee. Anything Pat McAfee says, Jeff Bezos takes to the pulpit.
Or our families too, our parents, like that rubs off on you too. Like,
well, yeah,
your parents talk
but
about that.
If you have a strong role, or maybe you don't have a strong male role model in your life, and you look at I'm going to say LeBron James, but you can also look at Derek Jeter, Alex Rodriguez. I mean, the list goes on. Whoever you look up to, if they slip out their political views or views in general, like we're not just buying their sneakers anymore. Now we're taking everything they say with complete certainty and as the gospel. So I think there's some trouble in, and Ty, I think you alluded to it, the media, and that includes social media, that people get sponsored. So LeBron James and these athletes are getting sponsored not necessarily for their opinions, but for some company to say, hey, we'll pay you X amount of money for you to say this, and then it comes off as this is legitimate. Whether they believe it or not, they're going to do their thing. And whether they believe it or not, the masses will follow, right? So when it's shut up and vote and do that thing and that, then people are going to go out and vote, and they're going to vote whichever way that their role model or whoever is telling them to do that, because they think
they're
it's
influencers.
They're influencers. Thank you, Paul.
I guess
Go on, Jeff. I'll let you go first.
No, I'm sorry, Ty. I stepped all over you.
The only thing I wanted to ask too, because I have my own opinions on this, but I think it's interesting too, looking back on it. Where do we think the line is drawn, I guess, or is different from athletes being activists today compared to like a Cassius Clay, a Lou Alcindor back in like the 70s, the 60s, 50s, and then forward going on to that when they became Muhammad Ali, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, stuff like that?
Simple. To me, it's the amount of time that they have to the news cycle, right? It's the 24-hour news cycle. They have their own platform with Twitter and Facebook and TikTok and all this stuff that's out there right now. A lot of them have their own websites. You know what I mean? So when it comes down to it, I think that's the difference is your kids were not watching television or didn't have a phone to be on 24 hours a day. Whereas you can control if you're watching the evening news, you know what I mean? As a parent back in the 1970s, 1980s, you can say, well, guess what? They say something you don't like or you don't agree with, click, on to the next one. Or you send like everybody knows, our generation, Jeff,
go to your room.
You either go to your room or you're the remote control that you go over and you're clicking the channels to channel 13 or whatever. So
I think too that the difference a little bit too with those, Ty, from like today's to back then with those guys was I don't want to say there were bigger issues, but I mean they were protesting like the war and stuff too. I mean they didn't want to go to Vietnam, so like they were saying they were, with their changing their name, that's religious issues so that they didn't have to go to war because nobody liked that war back then. So it was a huge issue to where now I think every little thing becomes an issue. I don't like the color of this Powerade because it's, it offends me. I don't like the color of your hat because, that color bothers me.
And my opinion is of kind of both of yours too, and I mean that's how I felt too. I think what social media does play a huge integral part in it because you don't get away with it. You don't get away from it anymore. Everybody wants to run to their favorite athlete to get their opinion on whatever issue just happened politically now. When before, I don't think that was the case with guys like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Muhammad Ali. They stood for something they believed in, but they didn't do it either for sponsorship money. They didn't do it either to get the check. They did it, and sometimes, a lot of the time, early on in their careers, when they did make the changeover, they didn't get a lot of media attention, and a lot of people were actually kind of dead set against them doing that, but they didn't care. They just they did it to do it, and there wasn't sponsorship on it.
They believed in it right here,
Listen,
not here.
There were a lot of people that were mad at Michael Jordan in his heyday because he wouldn't take a stance.
Right.
And I love what Michael had to say. I'm pretty sure Republicans buy sneakers too. He just stayed out of it entirely. And I think the bigger issue that we have now is there's hypocrisy in some of the positions that these guys take. They want to stand up for some of these causes that they believe in, yet LeBron James is selling Nike shoes that are made in a sweatshop in China, and he's got nothing to say about that. If you're going to have a microphone, if you're going to have a voice, if you're going to express opinions, then be consistent with it.
I completely agree. I think that's the difference is the media is back in the day, Ty, and I love media history, right? I love seeing how it's changed. I don't necessarily agree with how it's changed over the course of time, but I love seeing why things change the way they do. Right now, the media can say anything they want and not be held accountable because they control the narrative. That's the difference. And back then, they still stood for journalism. They wanted to get the inside scoop. They wanted the story. So the truth shall set you free, right? So it was they were telling the truth. They were looking for stories. They were looking for true journalism. And now it's just reporting. They don't necessarily care if they're right or if what they say is even true. They just want it out there. And they want to follow the masses, and they're looking for clicks, and they're looking for page views. They could care less about the content of it. They care about how many people look at it and if kids think it's cool enough to click. So that's the difference between media back then and the media now is they still control the narrative, even more so today, but they block out what they feel is the other side of the story instead of telling both sides and letting you decide. They're telling you what to believe. And that's where our athletes, our entertainers, and everybody who's a role model influencer can get into a lot of trouble, because if the media says you do something, it's easy to just point to the finger of the media and say, no, you took that out of context, when in reality, these athletes, these influencers are just saying things to get clicks and likes and views and engagement, I guess, is the best way. So it's really interesting. We got some comments. Let's catch up on these real quick. Why isn't my mouse working? It's driving me crazy. Andy says certain people will push certain beliefs, and if you go against that belief, that will keep pushing it upon you. They will keep pushing it upon you, I'm guessing. Interesting take. I think there's some truth to that. And Jim Bartell says, right on, Coach. So what did Coach say? Oh, he was talking about yours. Sorry, I thought there was a message in the comments. I think that there's a lot of truth to that. Jeff, speak your mind, my friend.
Well, speak my mind on the sole fact of talk about social media and stuff like that. I don't want to and I give the shout out to you and Paul. Raising kids right now with social media is unbelievably hard, because everything those kids rely on nowadays is all on what is on Twitter, what's on Facebook, what's on Instagram, what is this person doing here, and you see it with their views on politics or a situation happening, right? You get to be closer with with your celebrity, I close to Pat McAfee for sole reason because of Twitter, and I think you just have to be as a parent, it has to be tough as heck, because you really got to monitor it. You have to be able to monitor there's Snapchat, these, girls get Snapchat and they're all over the place. And guys, they snap, it's 10 seconds, that could ruin everything you put up to. And, it's wild. It's absolutely wild how big influence social media has.
What's crazy to me too, it's on top of the fact that you have the media pushing their narrative, sports are doing their thing, those guys aren't staying in their own lane. Us as a society consume the opinions of these athletes so much that we're almost begging for it when it happens. And the one example and the one instance I could remember, and I thought it was super, super weird when it happened, was actually right after Kobe Bryant died. And everybody wanted to hear from LeBron James and Shaquille O'Neal. And those are the two guys they were pressing, what's your opinion? What's your opinion on that? And I mean, I understand relevancy to Kobe Bryant at the time, but the fact that was the number one thing we cared most about at the time when Kobe Bryant died, and that was a whole big news story, his family suffering and everything, and we're shoving cameras and everything in everyone's face. What's your opinion on this? And then those same people are going to take that opinion and then try to run with it. I mean, it's a circle. It's just an endless cycle of us doing this to ourselves right now.
I think what's scary, and we've got into this a couple times, and we've had to actually say, we appreciate where you're coming from, but we're not going to get involved in this, is everybody has a cause, right? Everybody feels they have a cause, whether it's, an illness or a death or, whatever it is, there's a cause that everybody feels strongly about and wants everybody to get behind, which, listen, I can appreciate. There's plenty of causes that I've been a part of, but we feel like every cause needs to be out there. Almost like fundraisers, you know what I mean? Like schools and organizations have all these fundraisers nowadays, for cookies and candles, and there's just so many of them that it just never stops. There's so many causes now because of lack of funds and GoFundMe's and things like that everybody feels like, well, if you don't do this, then you're not supporting me and we're not going to support you. That's not the way it should work. We're a sports organization. I remember even at 7th grade, when Columbine happened, or maybe it was 8th grade, I forget when it was, 7th or 8th grade for me. When Columbine happened, I remember watching the news and they interviewed an athlete, and I thought to myself, why? They should be interviewing teachers. They should be interviewing superintendents. They should be interviewing police and students. And those are do you feel safe? Why would an athlete feel not safe at that point? They have nothing to do with the narrative of the story other than, hey, it's a soundbite at 11 o'clock. That was,
even headlines. You look at you go on news headlines is I remember one being 2 Salem kids were arrested for social media bullying. And it's all about, I'm going to click on that because that says that. Because they want you, it's all about click. It's all about, clickbait. This has 700 clicks on it in 3 hours. Well, great.
See, this is great right here. Jim Bartell, sorry to cut you off, Jeff. Newspaper reporters were always required to have at least 3 sources and always tried to get both sides of the story. Social media has allowed anyone's opinion. I also don't believe, because this was never taught to us as I went through journalism school and broadcast communication, it was never taught to us that you need 3 citations or 3 sides, both sides of the story. At some point that changed. And I don't know if it's because of laziness, if it's because of time and deadlines and things of that nature. And, reporters started to have, instead of 2 stories a day, you had to fill 3 or 4 stories a day in order to fill a broadcast or in order to fill the newspaper.
Well, too, on top of that, it seems like back in the day, it was more when you wanted that soundbite, you wanted that quote from someone, you let it be at that. People formulated their opinions on what it is. Now it seems like the reporters are, get that soundbite, get the quote. Now let me add in what I think about this soundbite and quote. And then I think that's where we kind of got away from all that. And I think that's where a big shift has happened over the course of the last, well, not a few years, but a few decades.
I think you nailed it.
The other thing at first.
Yeah, that's the other thing is,
who's the first to get that story?
To be the first one to report things now. And so, as everybody's got, access to be able to post the first thing on Twitter or be the first one to break that story, it creates less of a desire to confirm it first or, do the proper legwork behind things. And that's, one of the things that always impresses me about like the stories and things that we put out is we don't necessarily we love to be the first one, but we want to make sure that we've got that down pat, because you're talking about messing with people's livelihoods. And especially, for us being a local sports network, you're talking about people that are in our communities. And so it's better to take the time and make sure you've got it stone cold dead to rights before you break it and potentially screw with somebody's life.
Yeah, the biggest thing for us is always going to be, and I preach that all the time, so I appreciate you bringing that up, but that's I want to hear it from them. If a coach steps down, I want to hear why they step down from them. You can tell me, and we can be beat reporters all we want to be or claim ourselves as beat reporters, but I would rather hear it from them. I think everybody would rather hear it from that person as to why, because I think there's a heartfelt reason. And also, we can't get it wrong, right? It's impossible for us to get it wrong if we're doing an interview like we're doing now, and they say it. It is what it is. So
it comes right from their mouth.
Yeah, so, I mean, and listen, we're not trying to set traps like that. We for the most part, let's be honest, we do softball questions. They're not under the light of interrogation. It's we try to help them out, and we just want to get the story to their programs, to their people, and have them tell their side. And that's the biggest thing. We won't have, if a coach is under duress or anything like that, we're not going to have them come on and we want the exclusive. That's just not us.
We've never sat here and talked about like, oh, this coach was on the hot seat. That's not a thing in high school sports. And if you're doing that in high school sports, just stop it.
Yeah, I agree. Which also, as much as I want to keep talking about this, I think we got to take a break. But when we come back, there has been a lifetime contract guarantee in Kansas, which makes me wonder, and I want to pass along to you and the people that are watching, if there was a coach anywhere here locally to get a lifetime contract, who would it be and why? Who would you want to see get a lifetime contract and why? We're going to address that and more when we come back on the Ysn Power Hour, and hopefully my mouse works when we come back from this break. Brought to you by, maybe? Uh-oh. I think we're dying here. We're dying. Dying on the vine. No, here we go. All right. Brought to you by Joe Dickey Electric. We appreciate all of our sponsors. Down at the bottom of your screen there, you see Baird Brothers, WRS, Insurance Solutions, Joe Dickey Electric, Channel 21 WFMJ, and, of course, our proud sponsor, G. Burbick Farms, which we will get to. The G. Burbick Farms, what's your beef, what's your filet, in a little bit. Back after this on the Ysn Power Hour.
Baird Brothers remains your source for fine hardwood products. For the time being, we're open for customer pickup only on weekdays, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., and Saturday from 9 a.m. till noon. Place your order online at BairdBrothers.com. Baird Brothers, for the place you love.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
The 4M Company, being an architect and construction manager for over 40 years, has had the opportunity to use many different electrical businesses for our projects. The depth, quality, and knowledge and attention to detail displayed by Dickey Electric makes them stand out above all the rest.
For state-of-the-art expertise and a timeless commitment to our customers, contact Joe Dickey Electric. We are everything electrical.
I went to Greenwood Chevrolet because I was really interested in looking at the tracks.
Because I wanted my dream truck.
Because I've been going there for 20 years. I think whenever we go there, whatever car we're looking for, they have tremendous inventory.
If you're looking for people who care about you, Greenwood is the place to go.
You know, it's like family there. The girls know me in service. It's Miss Kim in the Tahoe.
I'm really happy that I went
to Greenwood Chevrolet.
Because they really went
the extra mile for me.
Now we're going the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Local teams are heating up the hardwoods, and you can keep up with all the action on and off the court with Five Guys Hoop News all season long on 21 Sports.
And welcome back to the Ysn Power Hour. Can you guys hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Before we went to the break, we wanted to talk about a lifelong contract, a lifetime contract that was given out. Kansas. Bill Self gets it. Congratulations to him. I'm interested. I'm very intrigued as to, a university of all places giving out a lifetime contract. Would you want to see this be more normal, or do you think Kansas is going to really, really regret this one down the line, 5 years, 10 years down the line? And the second part of that question, which I think we start with, is if there was a coach locally to get a lifetime contract at a school for coaching, who would that be and why? Coach, we'll start with you since it's your topic.
Yeah, I think Muntz and I kind of both said it earlier. And Daniel is the guy for me. I think the job that he's done at South Range and just the way that he interacts with the other coaches and the way that he treats his athletes, he deserves to have a lifetime contract.
All right. I can't say I disagree with that one at all. Paul, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, 100% with me, it would be Dan Yeagley. Dan Yeagley would be the person for me that would get that lifetime contract. I mean, he's been there for a long time. The relationships he has with not only like the student athletes, but, his coaches, it's in the community. He's out there. He's at games. You see him at basketball games. You see him at baseball games. He's out there all the time. So in my opinion, I think he'd be it. And to go back to the first/second part of your question, I think it needs to happen more often at the college level too, because then that creates stability there where those kids now can say, that coach can go into their house and say, listen, I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. This is a contract I have. So come play for me and we're going to go win, instead of like these kids going there and not knowing if like, hey, maybe the coach isn't going to go there. So I'm looking out for myself, and I'm a one and done. I'm a two and done. Football guys are 3 and done because they got to be there till at least their junior year. You might start seeing more guys stay there through their senior year because they're like, hey, I love this coach. This guy's the one who brought me in, instead of you're seeing guys jump ship all the time. And it is a lot more, I think, at football level, college football, they jump ship more. The college basketball coaches are, Bill Self's been there for a while. You have the guy at UNC just now leaving after 30-some years.
Roy Williams.
Yep. Williams, yeah. Krzyzewski's been there forever. But I think it would create a lot of stability, and I think you'd see a lot more kids sign and stay if that was the case.
It's interesting. I mean, I think there's two sides to this coin, as there is to most of them. But, like, what happens if he goes on a 5-year losing streak here? What happens if he gets caught, doing something he shouldn't have? in a situation like that?
I bet
you'd hand in a
Claus
lifetime
had
contract.
He can't go out and visit a bunch of spas and not get in trouble for that. So I got to think of something there. Like, don't go running through campus naked. We have to fire you.
Frankie through the quad.
Yeah.
Let's Jeff. One coach out there who you think should be a lifetime contract if they were handing them out here.
I'm going to need your help. Who's the head coach for Springfield football coach?
Guerrero.
I think Coach Guerrero should be a lifetime contract. Springfield's always been really good in football, but when he showed up, he just changed that culture to being rough and tough and, demands respect. And he was just like Coach Yeagley. Like, obviously, Coach Seidel and Munson both said it. Coach has a good relationship with his former players, with me and other former players. Like, I went to the game for South Branch. He came up and dabbed me up, and we talked for 10 minutes. Like, it's awesome. But I think Coach Guerrero should get a lifetime contract. I think, answer your second part of the question, no. I think that's dumb on Kansas's part. He could get real old. His stuff, at this point, you have to evolve in basketball, and there's a lot of one and done happening, and you got to recruit the kids that are coming out are 5-star recruits and recruit one and dones. That could, his playing style could get old and never could evolve into it. So I don't like it. I don't think it should happen.
Well, I mean, for once, I think I agree with Jeff. If you're gonna go with hey, but Michael Page is back. Welcome back, Michael. If you're going to go with lifetime contracts, I think they need to be in super, super rare instances. These should not be things you're handing out. I don't like the idea of a lifetime contract, and you kind of alluded to it, DJ. It's, you can go on those losing streaks. Some stuff might happen that the school necessarily doesn't agree with, and I don't think a lot of schools would be all right not having that power to be able to say, okay, we're done with you now. And I think in those instances, with a coach, I feel like you risk coaches getting complacent too and getting a little bit too comfortable, because if they have that job security, they could just come in, all right, let's just do our thing. Maybe they lose a competitive edge, or that drive to win isn't as strong as maybe it used to be because they know their job's secure for years to come. I'm not a fan of it. And if it's going to be used, I would use it in only super rare instances. And if there's anybody from the area locally, I mean, there was Don Butchie, and then since Don Butchie retired, you got Yeagley. You got Coach Yeagley. I don't think there's really another coach locally that would deserve a long contract.
I think we're unanimous across the board with Coach Yeagley, certainly, but I think we're missing the boat on one particular Cheryl Weaver over at Champion. I think she deserves a lifetime contract with the Golden Flashes, and the right to kind of write her own ticket at that point. She's done an unbelievable job, not only with state championships, but also raising the bar for softball in our area from the high school level, where it's very difficult because everybody, and we have this conversation all the time, they kind of turn to travel ball and things of that nature. And now, I'm not going to say softball and baseball in high school is an afterthought, but it's not necessarily the top of the chart anymore the way it used to be. So I'm really proud of the effort that Cheryl Weaver has put forth. I've been a fan of hers for a long time. I know Anthony Hartwig's really proud of me right now for stepping up, but I think that's a coach that often gets overlooked for some reason in our area for stuff like this. But as far as Dan Yeagley, I mean, Coach Yeagley could, he's just a man. I mean, I have a special relationship with him and his family, and just he sent me a text message today, as a matter of fact, and it's the middle of baseball season. He deserves everything and then some. So hopefully, if there's ever a lifetime contract, which I don't think schools would ever be apt to give out, you're looking to get 2-year contracts nowadays. But Coach Yeagley and Cheryl Weaver certainly deserve one. Mardell saying that Bob Spate would be in that conversation.
What is the name slipping me? Our coach over at Wellsville, the all-time winning volleyball coach. That's another
Dan McKinstry.
Yeah,
that's an interesting topic because he actually left the Wellsville program, to try something new. So that's very interesting when it comes to this topic, because it's, again, some coaches want to go do something new. They want to turn the page. Some programs want to turn the page after so long. And to give out a lifetime contract, I think I will make this gamble that Bill Self will not be there for 20 years.
My question is, if you're offered a lifetime contract, you take it.
Yes. 100% of the time. I mean, as long as it's, average pay or better, at that point for a D1 coach who has a national championship.
What do you think getting paid? Like $1 million, $2 million?
Oh no!
Oh, it's
way more than that.
Yeah.
What about Leslie for coach?
I was interested. So Bill Self is 58 years old.
How old's Roy Williams?
For comparison, Roy Williams is 70 and Mike Krzyzewski is 74.
So you're looking at a 12-year contract, basically.
Basically.
I don't think he lasts 12. I don't think he lasts 10.
Kansas hasn't. They're still a elite program in the Big 12, but in the NCAA tournament, they have not produced to go to like Elite Eight consistently. Well, think about it.
Did they just win a national championship a couple years ago?
No. I don't think they have. I don't think they won in the last 5 years. I think they've been in the Final Four and been in the national championship a couple of times, but I don't think they're consistently in deep run NBA basketball game.
Here comes some pro, Jeff.
Well, no, I know they played in the national championship a couple of years. Beat Syracuse in the Final Four. That's when
2008. I guess it's longer than I thought it was.
Yeah. It's been a long time.
It feels like it was.
Wow. 2008. That's like 5 years ago.
2012. They were the runner-up.
Yeah.
Man, what is going on? Jeff is like on point today.
2018 Final Four.
Yeah. Jeff, what is going on with you?
Does he have that hoodie on underneath that?
Guy gets a week off from work, and all of a sudden he's making good points. Unbelievable. Nice job, Jeffrey.
Thank you.
So yeah, I mean, is a lifetime contract good in anything?
Golf.
What for what?
Marriage.
There it is.
I'd be worried about getting trapped if you're a coach.
Careful, Ty. Are you talking about marriage or coaching?
I was gonna say yours is coming up soon.
Yeah, I know. But I don't know. I would be worried because then you feel like you have to. You're dedicated to that school, then if you sign that lifetime contract. So if that's come down the road later, you want to do something new. Maybe you kind of feel like you're stuck because you can't really give up on that dedication you gave to that school and you promised to give to that school.
Siggy says this is a knee-jerk reaction based on reason Williams gave for him retiring. Potential new transfer rule is going to cause chaos, and that's not the first time I've heard that. This new transfer rule is going to be messed up.
You think about there was 5 players from Syracuse who already entered the report. And they were all big contributors last year to that little run where they obviously lose to Houston. But 5 players out of your legit players that Boeheim recruited, it's a big reason why you're going to – I'm really going to see – this is just like him retiring. You're going to see Boeheim retire next, then Coach K retire next. You're going to see a lot of these older, coaches retire more quickly than we think they would.
Jeff, out of curiosity, what's Coach K's full name?
I'm not – we're not doing that, Coach. Don't you do that to me, Coach. Don't do that to me.
Welcome back to the basement, Jeff.
Krzyzewski.
Yeah, he stinks anyway.
Spell it.
Not even close. Never gonna happen. Duke stinks. Coach K stinks. I hate him.
I think the reason for the problems for the sound is through me, so I apologize for any of the audio difficulties. Let's get to our G. Burbick Farms. What's your beef? What's your filet? Brought to you by G. Burbick Farms. Visit them on the web at gburbickfarms.com or go to New Buffalo Road and visit Greg yourself. I know he's open 10 to 4 typically on Saturdays. Head on down and get some great meat. You can have a meet and greet with Greg Burbick at G. Burbick Farms. Paul, what is your beef or filet for this Friday?
Pretty easy. I'm at the beach. We're down here for spring break, down here in Myrtle. Games start on Tuesday. We get 5 games in 4 days. So we're down here a little early to spend some family time first. But, I'm looking forward to the weather getting a little warmer. I mean, it's 55 here today, but it's on the upswing. It'll be in the 70s all week as we play. So that'll be a good thing. But, yeah, that's hands down. My filet is definitely that I'm here. If I do have a beef, it's that we had to drive this year. Not a fan of that. This drive down here just wears on you the older I get, and it's not fun. So
I thought you were flying.
We were, but then things start getting in there. Like you got to bring beach toys down, and you got to bring XYZ down, and next thing you know, it's that way. And I said, I don't care. About an hour outside of Myrtle, I said, I don't care what happens next year. We are flying. I got spoiled last year flying. I'm not doing it anymore. No, this driving stuff is for the birds.
We'll be driving down next year. Don't worry. So if people need to jump on, they can get in our new tailgate tow or whatever it's called.
Yeah. My suitcase might be a passenger.
Matt, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm going to go with a filet today, and actually I'm going to go with a double filet because the first one is I get to go call a game with Jeff tomorrow. That's going to be a blast. So tune in to see Jeff and I at West Branch tomorrow. And then the other one I'm going to go with is, just kind of a tip of the cap. Kyle Billingsley restarted the Sebring track program. It went away back in the 1980s, and it's back again. I posted about it yesterday. And the boys program posted a win in a quad meet just on the 30th. And so, huge hat tip, 3rd year back for the program, and to already be seeing success. That's just enormous.
I love hearing that. Always good to hear programs coming back and being successful, right? It's great that they come back, but it's even more important that they're successful in their return. Jeffrey, what do you got?
Well, I'm with Coach. I got 2. One is I get to call a game with him tomorrow. He stole mine at 1:00, West Branch, Poland. Go ahead and tune in on that, ysnlive.com. Another one is just being part of YSN. I told you before the show started, it was pretty cool that I got a chance to call 2 baseball games on Scene Field, one in the broadcast booth. Like, that is pretty cool to go up in the booth and watch this stuff. And then I get to call like another game at Eastwood Field. Like, how cool is this? Like, I tell everybody I live a stupid life. All right. And my stupid life means I live the Truman Show life. You ever watch the Truman Show? Go ahead and watch that movie. It's a great movie. But I live that life. And I can't, ever thank you enough, DJ, for giving me the opportunity to do what I can, let my dumb brain speak into a microphone every single time. So thank you.
I'm just grateful you didn't bring up that you caught me listening to Disney music earlier.
No, by the way, I had to get let in. He pulls in. I'm like, dude, what is he? Is he listening to Chris? Like, is this church music? And he's like, no, dude, it's Disney music. I'm like, do you listen to Disney music when you work out? Yeah, man. That's a wild scene because I have to listen to like Dropkick Murphys or like, Ship Me Off to Boston. Like, I have to listen to like Marilyn Manson to get myself to even be able to work out. Like, that is wild.
Nope, just listen to the Disney soundtrack. You'll be fine. Let it go. Ty, what do you got?
My beef is this bullshit Ohio weather that's preventing sports from happening and just slowing things down. We don't need a snow in April in Ohio. We can let up now. You didn't snow for all of March, but now we have to start snowing again. Let's let up. Let's get some warm weather, and let's get some more baseball going on.
Hey, Ty, you're in Ohio. How old are you? Like 7, 8 now?
You're muted.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter. I know how Ohio is, but I swear.
You've had a few ice cream seasons to get used to our weather. You knew there was going to be one more cold blast before it was all over. Like, I get it. Listen, I understand it. I get it. People don't want to see it. Once you get that taste of 70 degrees, It's hard to let go, but it happens every single year. I'm just happy we didn't get 7-8 inches of snow, so we're worried about games for the next week and a half. Games aren't going to happen yesterday. We got rain the day before. I think we're very few and far between today, being, of course, Good Friday as well. So tomorrow we'll have more games, and then Monday, especially after Easter, we're going full bore because I think Easter is where you get that feeling of, okay, now we got to get these games in. So excited for that. But my filet is it's my dad's birthday in heaven. So happy birthday, Dad. I love you. I miss you. We all do. And if it weren't for you, that there would be zero chance that we're here sitting together at YSN. So thank you for all you provided for our family, for everything you did for me and for Jenny, and of course for Mom. And everybody that you touched, you made an impact on. So thank you, Dad. We love you. And again, I'm looking at the skies a couple more times today than I usually do. So that's going to do it for our YSN Power Hour. I'll get the audio fixed. And of course, we will be back on Monday with a brand new YSN Power Hour and talk about everything that is good over the weekend in the world of sports. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for sponsoring. And we will see you Monday right here on ysnlive.com. Oh, God. Here we go.